What's up, guys? I have the man in front of me. You're going to be seeing a lot of him this year. Johnson Wagner, how you doing, mate?
Trottie, I'm great. You?
Good. We have a brand new set of sticks to you here.
Yep.
So I want to talk about, and some faithfuls.
Oh yeah.
I want to talk about a bit what's in the bag, what you'd look for in a set of golf clubs, and why we are where we are. So we'll start with your irons. How close is this to what you played in your years on tour?
It's very close. I was always kind of a blade or a really streamlined cavity back, and the P7 CBs are amazing. I absolutely love looking down at them on the top line. There's, in my mind, zero offset. I know there's a little bit, but there's no offset. It's a clean, traditional sort of look. And my favorite thing about the P7 CBs is that my old irons, if I was out 170 yards with a 7-iron and I mishit it, it's coming up short. I feel like the forgiveness and the workability is exactly what I'm looking for right here.
Okay. You played in a generation of when TaylorMade had A, B, and C offsets.
Yes.
Do you remember that?
Yes.
And we had a lot of Champions Tour guys that would use a lot of offsets.
Yes.
So Tom Watson, Hale Irwin, generation before us, they'd have the third offset.
Yes.
Then there were a couple of European boys who had no offset.
Yep.
So it's interesting. Where did you fall in the ABs?
I was right in the middle.
Right in the Bs, which
being
makes sense.
being a guy that I like to draw the golf ball, especially with my irons.
Yeah.
So when I had a lot of offset, I felt like the starting lines would start left and draw. And I feel like with the middle selection there, I could actually start the ball right and have it work back.
So we have some good gearheads that follow this channel, but explain what offset is in your terms as a player.
Yeah, offset is where the shaft comes into the hosel, and if it's offset, the head would be kind of behind where the hosel comes into the club.
Yeah, so shaping is all part of offset. Now, S4s, always played that or gone a bit softer?
I've gone a bit softer lately. I've always played that in my wedges, and switching over, I like a heavier, stiffer feel, but with that little bit of whip. X1s are just too much for me now at 44 years old. I was playing a ZZ65 True Temper shaft before in a set of ping irons, and that I felt like this was the closest I could get.
The V55.
Oh my God.
Old school even a little bit. Now even getting old school, unfortunately. I hate to say it to you, but have you always put them on? They look pretty good. Guys play around with it.
If I had to put it on a different way, not different than this, if I had to put it on, it would be where the club face is slightly open.
Yeah.
I tend to re-grip at address, and I tend to shut the club head before I take it away. So when I have the grip on a little bit open and start with it maybe 3 degrees open, then when I re-grip, it comes back to square.
Okay. Still a classic grip, came from the Victory, obviously. You got it through the bag even on the 60.
I do. I love it's my favorite grip of all time. I think it's durable. I like the I like the grip right look. I love that grip.
It seems thinner than I thought. How many tapes you got?
It's a little thinner. I'm usually a 2-in-1 guy, 2 build up 1. So there may be 1 less layer under there right now.
Why? Because they screwed up. You can say that.
Well, no, they didn't screw up. I don't think I gave good enough directions.
There you go. Well done. He saved whoever's in the truck.
I don't think I gave good enough direction.
Why'd you build up the right hand?
The right hand build up, I had a guy from Golf Pride years ago when I was on tour kind of fit me for a grip that I never had. And he said, with your hands, having 1 extra layer in the right hand would be a good thing.
Lob wedge seems pretty flat.
It's a little flat, so I'm 1 degree up on my irons. In my wedges, I tend to go standard loft because I feel like on 3/4 moves, it gives me the ability to sort of let that ball fall right a little bit easier.
So the wedges are a bit flatter than the rest of the set.
They're probably standard to a 1/2 degree up, and everything else is 1 degree up.
When you played, we didn't have this mill grind sole. Now we can replicate every sole that you want with the mill grind. Has that been a nice thing to see?
Yeah, this has been I've been a very traditionalist with wedges. I play older wedges, and I've always played the same brand. And getting these TaylorMade wedges in my bag, I have been delighted with the way they look from over the top, with the way they feel off the face, chipping, full shots, 3/4 shots. I am blown away by the feel and the grooves. And my favorite thing is when they're new and you get to peel the wrapper off the face, and I kind of run my hand over them, and they feel so good.
Fun.
They zip.
The wedges have come a long way, to be fair, haven't they, in the last 4 or 5 years?
I remember when I was playing TaylorMade back in the day, y'all had the face that came out, and now they're just they're top line.
Do you know Harrington ended up with all of those faces?
Harrington,
you can imagine that, right?
Harrington, I know Dustin Johnson and Brian Harmon, who was a lefty.
Yeah.
Who is a lefty. Brian was he really struggled finding extra lefty faces because he loved those wedges.
So I want to get into the faithful.
Yes.
This thing's been with you a long time.
It's been with me a long time.
Why so precious, and what's it do for you?
The M6 3-wood, I play 3-woods until I crack the face.
Okay.
And because it's the most trusted club in my bag. If I'm not hitting the driver well, which is often, I know I can throw a 3-wood down on the tee and I can put it in play.
Yeah.
And I find some of the most difficult tee shots on tour and at home, I go to the 3-wood just to make sure I put it in play. This is a club I count on all the time. And on the face, I think it was at the Players Championship years ago, the first shot I hit with it, I hit a toe chunk and really scraped the face. But other than that, I've got a pretty nice wear mark.
Yeah, very nice. Do you know, I always do that when I like 3-woods, and I'm like, geez, you know it's going to be a good one.
Yes, yes. The previous one I hit before this was an M2, and I remember the moment I cracked it. I was on the 10th tee at RBC Heritage, and I never overhook my 3-wood. That's why I like a 3-wood that doesn't overhook. And I overhooked this thing low left into the water off that tee, and I looked down at the face, and there was just a crack right across it. And it was the most devastating day, and then I found this one, and now I'm good.
Do you think you're a victim a little bit of your generation and your era that you played in? Because when I listen to you, you don't like left miss. You use a 3-wood like it's, you know, your favourite child, basically.
Yes.
Which I think a lot of guys...
Maybe more than my favourite child.
Which is like a lot of guys our age do.
Yes.
Because when you play with the kids, and I know your son is a great player, they just stand there and hit cut bomb driver.
They do.
There's no fear.
No.
And I'm worried for them, and I'm like, well, I guess I didn't need to be worried for them. As I'm stood there with a 3-wood poking it out there at 250. But why
you can't hit a 3-wood 250.
If I can, he knows me well. Just we always put the numbers on normalised when we make any videos. I don't do it live.
Maybe like 5,000 feet.
Exactly. So talk to me about why you think we're such a victim of what we know, and you lean into that. I think a lot of people, I know I've tried to get out of what my comfort zone is, but you seem to be like, no, this is me, this is what I like, because that's part of being a great player, right?
And I really like the new QI35 3-wood. I hit it a bunch yesterday, and I think it's going to probably find its way into the bag, but when you're out playing competitive golf, and I'm talking even with my friends at home, we always have a match, I want a club in my bag that I can trust. And I've hit this club thousands of times, and it has let me down very few of those. And so I love having a club in my bag that I know I can lean on when I need it the most.
How do we build trust in golf clubs when we get a new bag of clubs? How do we do that quickly?
Get out there and hit them and see what they do, and trust one shot. Like I don't try to recreate the wheel with my 3-wood. I can hit a little stinger cut if I need to. If I have to cut it around the trees, I know what it's going to do. But when I step up on the tee with that 3-wood, I aim down the right center and I hit it as hard as I can, and it draws to the left center.
Fantastic. You got your hand on a 5-wood there?
Yes.
Have you toyed around with any 7-woods yet? 9-woods? They're the new trend.
Toyed around with Tommy Fleetwood with his 9-wood. He let me hit it. He holed one from 250 when I was with him, and then he's like, here, you hit it, and it came out screaming out of the left rough.
Did you get 250 out of it?
It chased out to it, yes.
Okay.
And I mean, it was a jumper out of the left rough, but no, out of the fairways I haven't. But I'm thinking that's my next step, is to get a high lofted fairway wood, because Tommy said it was like he said it's like a long pitching wedge. It comes out of the fairway really high, really soft, and lands just where he wants it.
I would strongly suggest getting the 7-wood as well. Like try both the 7 and the 9. The 7-woods this season have been blown away. Q behind the camera got me on that, and I was like, no way, it's a chops club, but it's not. It's legit. One
of my favorite things about TaylorMade fairway woods, and I've not traditionally been a 5-wood guy, I've been a hybrid guy. The original white, what was it was a launcher? Not a launcher,
rocket balls.
No, it was before the rocket balls. It was.
I think they called it a TP. I remember it.
It was a 5-wood where I felt like I could hit it to the moon if I needed to, but into the wind I could hit it down. And I think that this QI
R1 or something like that.
It was before the R1. It was the original.
Testing me,
I know. I'm blanking on the name.
Me too.
But
old 5-wood.
My problem with 5-woods that aren't TaylorMade is that they spin up into the air so much, and that's why I'm excited to try a 7-wood or 9-wood, because I know I'll be able to hit them low if I have to.
Well, I think the tech has changed as well. I think that's again why guys like you and I aren't into those lofted woods, because you're just used to hitting every ramp going, and it's crap. Driver, gone for the hazardous smoke. Is that something you played on tour?
I played a stiffer version. I played the silver one, the hazardous, and I just needed a little more kick at the bottom. The shaft's been great, but that head right there, the QI 35 LS model, these last 2 days I've been hitting it. It is straight. It's long. It has the perfect amount of spin. I couldn't be happier with myself.
It's a nice looking head, right?
It's a great looking head.
Yeah, and TP5X ball is what you partner with that, and you were saying that you've been stashing them because you didn't take a load home.
I've got a bunch of TP5s at home right now, and it around the greens I love it, irons I love it, but off the tee it just has a little bit of spin and a little bit of curve. I'm a high spin guy, lots of wrist set at the top, so I need a ball that I can trust off the tee to not over curve. Yeah.
Now, we never crossed over much in my repping days, but we did talk a little bit about putters, and you were very honest and came up to me and said, listen, I'm gonna be honest with you, I'm not going to be changing, but now I see that embracing some other things, at least. Embracing.
Well, it's the way, you know, covering golf, every good player I see uses a putter like this. A mallet, this is the Spider, and I mean, I built it off of Scotty Scheffler's. Seeing what it did to his game this last year, when his switched to the Spider, and he won 8 times with the gold medal, Masters, FedEx Cup. Like, the proof is there, the technology's there. I like a more traditional look, but I also like hole and putts, and this thing's helping me do that.
Have you dived into his data on that and seen? I mean, it's crazy the yardage and the footage he holds now and how much better he's got.
And it's just the stability of the strike. It's the stability of the stroke and the strike, and it just comes off where you're looking. So it takes a lot of variables out of the equation.
Yeah, fantastic. I could talk golf and golf equipment to you all day, mate. I'm massively looking forward to the future for you. I think it's going to be brilliant, and thanks for entertaining us, and that's what's in the bag. Is there one final tip you can give people that are out there looking to get fit?
Ball fitting is really underrated. Played a lot of rounds with the TP5. I've played a couple with the TP5X. I think go out there and hit them side by side and see what you like. I think having the right golf ball is massive. If you've got the wrong one, you're going to have more curve. You're going to have less spin. There's so many different things to factor in. So get fit for the right ball. For me, it's TP5X, but that's not the same for everybody.
There you go, guys. You heard it here. All the Wags' stuff is down below in the description if you want to catch anything. Keep an eye on him. The information is phenomenal, and he's been open and honest as always. Thanks, mate.
Trottie, you're the man.
Top man.